Yes, welcome in, everyone. American and Leeds, the American and Leeds YouTube and Spotify channel. Big goal of the channel right now is to drive up subscribers. So if you're not subscribed, please do take a moment, subscribe. I appreciate it. The purpose of this channel is to have a chat about Leeds United. I'm an American lover of Leeds, have been for 7 years, and just have not had the chance to go down to a pub and talk about Leeds United. So I'm go to YouTube and Spotify. So please subscribe if you're not subscribed. I love the comment section, and that is the section that is really just drives me. So put comments in, please do. It means a ton to me. Okay. 3 big things on this podcast. Why we must get promoted. Leeds United must get promoted this season. It's so vital. I think really we are going to be right, knowing the history of the club. In many ways, we were left behind in the early 2000s when we did get that relegation, 16 years in the wilderness, all of that, absolutely. And you saw the growth of the Premier League and us being one of the founding members of it. You've seen the what's happened to the big 6, right? Tottenham and Chelsea. And I think now with Aston Villa and Newcastle being other big spenders, we could see continued just missing out on the gravy train that is European football. So I want to show this to you. This is via Bloomberg, and it's just the trailer to, I think you should see it, to Fulham. A little expose on Fulham and Fulham's ownership, and what they're planning to do and how it's compared to the NFL, which, so I think there's some parallels here. The Fulham owner owns the Jacksonville Jaguars as well as Fulham Football Club. Leeds United, obviously owned by the 49ers Enterprises, the York family, which owns the 49ers Football Club, American Football Club, or franchise, and Leeds United Football Club.
Football is at a crossroads on both sides of the Atlantic. The National Football League and the English Premier League are undeniably incredible businesses, and they sit alone atop their respective sports. The EPL has attracted a massive global audience measured in the billions, while the NFL has created the most valuable teams of any league in the world. So what if you took the best of each business with the ambition of creating a new sort of, unified football verse? Meet Shahid Khan. He's the owner of the Jacksonville Jaguars and Fulham Football Club, and he stands in the unique position to solve for both sides of the equation.
The thing about the sports owner, the highs are the greatest highs, and the lows are the greatest lows.
Shad Khan is trying to unite 2 dueling football empires along with their influence and audience, pouring tons of money into both his Jaguars and Fulham FC to expand their international reach in parallel.
Bottom line, there are challenges, financial challenges, and obviously it's competitive challenge. It's a learning curve.
Is Shahid Khan the one to crack the code and bring these 2 disparate football empires together for even greater gain? This is Power Players.
All right, that's just the trailer. It goes on from there. You can go to Bloomberg Power Players and Google Shad Khan and his ownership model, but you can see what he's doing over there at Fulham Football Club, and Fulham is now more and more becoming an established Premier League side. They just signed Emil Smith-Rowe, who is one of the best players in the country, touted to be in England, and they took him off Arsenal because of injuries and other things. But this is a top talent in England. He'll be playing at Fulham. By the way, cheers, everyone. Got the Bielsa mug here. You also see what he's doing with Craven Cottage on the River Thames, and you can see he goes into detail about really not only just uplifting Fulham Football Club, uplifting that entire neighborhood in London. He admits that it's placed in one of the wealthiest neighborhoods in London, right? But the idea is the same. The stadium, the venue that you watch the club in is also rises up and supports the community. And I think the 49ers have the same ambition to do it Ellen Road, but it has to be done in the Premier League. And I think just in terms of the players, the transfer sides, the transfer value, it's got to be this season. And I still know, because I can read the tea leaves and I know the owners in Europe desire that Super League, whatever you want to call it. It might not be called a Super League anymore, but it will be a more globally recognized tournament by which most of the English Premier League clubs will be invited to it because it's the biggest and most powerful footballing league in the world. And Leeds United have to be a part of that. We have to be a part of that in order to get continued revenue, kit sales, whatever. It's, I saw somebody talk about Leeds United. It's easy top 8 biggest clubs in London, or biggest clubs, I'm sorry, in UK, biggest clubs in the United Kingdom and England. Easy, Leeds United. But when you look at the world and kit sales in the world and, social media followers, it's big, but it's big in England. It needs to be big globally. And you've just seen, of course, one of the teams I left out that went from 0 to obviously very large, but that's the power of the money there. But Manchester City. So that's that. We have to get promoted this season to keep pace. And I think it'll be interesting with the 3 promoted clubs because last year, the 3 promoted clubs were pretty much nailed on for relegation. So it'll be interesting to see if there is a more of a scrap. I think the mid-table clubs were very comfortable. Obviously, when we got relegated, there was probably 3 points at one point separating 10th to 20th, or 5 points, something like that. It was very tight, and it was extremely competitive. It was almost 2 tables, and that's the way the Premier League is. It's becoming 2 separate tables within the English Premier League. So anyways, it's highly competitive. Wanted to go to Graham Smith here because he's getting some insider information when it comes to Leeds United. He's having kind of off the record conversations with Leeds United ownership, but it kind of talks to or the front office, and it talks to kind of what the model is going to be, what's it going to look like. We saw Joe Rodon come back to Leeds United with the Archie Gray deal. Now they wrote it up as 2 separate deals, but you could have also written it up as, in my perspective, $30 million for Archie Gray and Joe Rodon back. I mean, that's basically how they're kind of looking at it. So I know it's 2 separate deals. I know Joe Rodon's got to get paid, but that kind of, and you saw it also with Luis Sinisterra, us getting a winger back for him, even though it was on loan. The Leeds United, if somebody's going to come in for a player, I think you're going to see the model of Leeds United getting somebody off of them in return. So this is courtesy of the Inside Ellen Road podcast, and Graham Smith shares his thoughts on some of the higher level conversations that he's had at Ellen Road.
Were informed to the contrary by those close to the club that that wasn't actually the case.
Yeah, that's right. It's interesting. I've had a few chats with Greta Steinson, Leeds United's technical director, this week. He's here at the camp, and he's been in and around it. He's been in and around some of the players. He's had quite a few chats with Farke. Adam Underwood is here as well, who essentially heads up the football side of things at Thorpe Arch. It heads up an awful lot of stuff, not just logistics, but people as well. And they've had meetings in Germany, and a lot of the chats with Greta, which is it's kind of the nature of these camps, have been off the record chats about how things are going and our kind of views on things. But something he said that kind of struck a chord with me was that you think about where something has come from and why it has been said and who stands to benefit, and a lot of it is a game. It's just a game. Information being used in a game in the transfer window. And I don't get the sense that he gets very excited about things like that, about Leeds being linked. He kind of used the example of being at Fleetwood, that Chesterfield might be used as a, say Fleetwood were looking for a player. It would suddenly emerge that Chesterfield were also looking at that player. And you've got to look at it and think, well, is this the case, or is this part of the game, to try and drive up a price or try and prompt someone into action? And it felt like there's a little bit of that with the Smodics thing, because he's not on Leeds' list of main targets, we're told. And it looks like Ipswich will probably continue to go after him. But maybe it served somebody well to have Leeds United's name thrown out there at the same time. And how often have we seen that? It's great for a player to be linked to Leeds. It's great for an agent to have his player linked to Leeds. It's great for a selling club to have their player linked to Leeds. So it works for everybody except Leeds when a player is linked. So it's been interesting this week. I would say, what I could say from my kind of chats with Adam Underwood and Greta Steinson and a lot of the club staff and Farke on and off the record, they're very calm. There's a real lack of melodrama, and there's no hysteria. There's no panic. There's not a great deal of ego. There's no bluster. Like, nobody's trying to impress anyone with the stuff that they're saying. Nobody's making any bold proclamations. I think the sense I get is that they think the team as it stands is a good team with lots of good players in it. They obviously, as Farke told us yesterday, could do with another one in centre mid. They could do with another one at fullback. There's probably one or two other positions where they could maybe do with another one. But as a nucleus of a squad goes, it's pretty strong. And all they probably need to do is a couple more and then react very quickly if someone should leave.
Oh, sorry. We'll leave it there. I was on mute there, but I think you do. Yeah, you see a fullback. You will see a center mid, whether that be more of an attacking mid or defensive mid. I'm not sure, because I do think that the push button emergency break glass in case of emergency is to put Ampadu back at center back, or possibly Vober, but that means you need depth in the fullback and center midfield position. So that's what I think. I think there's so much fluidity up top. I don't think we see a striker. I don't think we see, even though you will scream your head off and think we might need an out-and-out number 9. I just don't see it. If we do have Summerville go, to me, you've got to get those goals and assists somewhere, and it's not going to be Brendan Aronson. I don't think Brendan Aronson should start. I don't think he should be really near the starting lineup for me. He, besides the fact that he probably walked away from the team, you could probably say that. But going into this camp, he deserves a chance just like everybody else. From what I've seen, he is Brendan Aronson. He had a chance with a one-on-one opportunity with a keeper. He was by himself with a keeper. He's got to bury that chance. Other than that, he had that nice assist in the first game, and actually we'll go on to some of the German stats. Against Harrogate Town, Hanover 96, and Schalke. I'm not sure I'm saying that right. I practiced it the other night, and then I'm bottling it now. Anyways, Joseph, 4 goals and assists. I mean, everybody's talking about Joseph. I think there's a little bit of risk starting him as a out-and-out number 9 for the season with Bamford's injury and Perot being a 9.5. But I think Farka backs himself to manufacture goals if there is an injury on the front line. Ruter, a goal and 2 assists. Perot, 2 goals. Bogle, 2 assists. Gruev, a goal, which is great. Midfielder. Firpo, a goal. Great to see. Chambers, a goal. Aronson, an assist. And Summerville, an assist, with obviously being part-time as he developed an injury. Not listed is Dan James, who's also out with an injury. So I think that's what you're going to see. I think that's what you're going to see. Now let's get to Summerville and Gnonto, because I think one of them does move, and Summerville has expressed his desire to leave the football club several times. He did it last year, obviously, by holding out. And I told you guys we would forgive him. And that the 49ers are very comfortable with holdouts because they get holdouts on the other side of the pond every summer with a different football club. I digress. So, and that he would be coming back into the squad. When I look at Summerville and Gnonto, there's a lot more there's a lot more riding on Willie Gnonto. There's a lot more riding on Willie Gnonto. Italian international. We got him for what, $5 million? And I know Summerville has not made the Dutch squad. He's very close with his parents, and from what I can see, I know nothing about the man. Gnonto needs a bag eventually. I think he and his family, a lot more is riding on Willie Gnonto's success, like the people behind him that push him. And he, as soon as practice goes, as soon as the whistle blows, I think, and when he's in with his mates, I think he settles, and you can see the joy and smile on his face. I just think from a perspective of a fan that's sensitive to those type of things, I think he wants more money. And can Leeds United give him more money? Is it fully deserved? Those are all questions. But he changed his agent, I believe. He had a poor agent that gave him bad advice last year. And if I were to bet on one of them moving, I would probably bet on Summerville, because it's whether you want a move or not. Summerville has earned the right to move on and will be given probably a bigger sum of money. Now, long term, right now, Summerville's probably more of the finished article. If you were to bet on one of these 2 wingers for the longevity of their career, to me, Willie Gnonto is going to be. He was a full-fledged international player for Italy. He I think he will wind up more goals and assists. I think his body type can take more hits. I think I think he's a tough player, tough lad. I think he's got to grow up a little bit. And, that chemistry is going to be tough for the 49ers to break up, 49ers Enterprises to break up, because they're also two players that genuinely like each other. You throw Ruter in there, and there's a lot of good vibes happening in the squad. So, look, I talked about it. If you follow me, I can read the tea leaves. I can read things before they happen sometimes. And I told you that Summerville will be an Leeds kid. I told you we'll be practicing for Leeds. This is when the Brighton interest came in. The 49ers will wait on an asset like that to move him. And then, of course, they will have a backup plan and react very quickly. They're not idiots like that. So they will see the chessboard. They understand that it's chess, not checkers. And they will, of course, have a reaction ready to go. As you can tell, people put Leeds United out there, agents, other teams, to drive interest, to drive articles, to drive, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, because we are such a clickbaity club. We have a huge online presence. And so, of course, the rumors will continue. You will see even things. You will see Jorginho Ruter's resolve be tested, our resolve on Jorginho Ruter. You will see, a continued interest by clubs in Willie Gnonto and Summerville. I think Summerville gets a move late. I've been saying it pretty much all summer. My real prediction is that he gets either a brace or a hat trick and then moves, which is, it is what it is. And I think, honestly, we could probably all agree that he does deserve it in a sense. One last thing. Sara. Is Sara real? Is Sara fake? The Gabrielle Sara rumors, a lot of people cannot see us spending, cannot see us. And this is, this is not a good account, but I want to just look at the picture of Sara. Why Sara is rumored at 17 Aaron says early days on friendlies. Proof in the pudding will be the first day of the championship. It looks like Bamford is going to be another passenger. I'm not convinced on Aronson. Me too. I'd settle for a 50 goal contribution from Joseph and Perot. Well, my gosh. Jury is out whether it will be our top dog. That is for sure for Joseph. John says, this team is starting to look more balanced at the back of the midfield. Last season, we were too predictable, and now we have options on both flanks and more compact and progressive in midfield. Our frontline fluidity can take advantage of this. I love how Bogle drives at the opponent's back line, and his delivery is exact in the box. Sorry. In the box. Valencia will be a good test to see where we are right now. We can prove competitive for 90 minutes. Yeah, Valencia will be a huge test. I think Bogle's been great. 2 assists. Just walking off the bus is incredible. Good update, sir. I believe Bamford will cause problems because managers will always try to introduce him to the side, despite the obvious risks like reliability. I enjoy the fact that he can unbalance a front line consistently. He remains a huge problem for Joseph. Interesting. We'll see. He does. If there's one thing that's elite about Bamford, it is his movement. But he's got to score goals. User BI3 WW3IMS. I think I went too quickly there, but Matty Joseph has to start every match for me, playing really well, scoring goals, and Perot scoring goals as well for the pair of them headed into next season. I feel positive. Marching on together, Leeds. Where adventures be says, I agree with you identifying Mateo's talent, but Farka seems to have totally misplaced faith in Perot, and starting him as the number 10 is insane. As the only real scorers when handed the ball in the front of an open goal. Has very little agility like Mateo. Perot is not up to the job, and I reckon one of the main reasons we didn't go up last year. Look, the reason we're down is probably Bamford. I mean, he's most sitters. If there's anybody on that front line. Cheers, everybody. Has to be Joseph at 9. Aronson is sub. This is Paradise Parisi 12. He says, has to be Joseph at 9. Aronson is sub. Reuter wide right for me. I like your thinking, sir. Strauch in front of Vober and Ampadu. Rothwell as the midfield 2. Could have more attacking subs. Perot, Aronson, James, Gnonto. Never mind Bamford and Gelhardt. I don't think we see the back 3. I think you might be inferring a back 3 lineup. I think that was nice to start the season, but he admitted that he did not have Farka did not have fullbacks. I just think you see the 4-2-3-1. I would love to see a 4-3-3. I think the 3 at the back gives us options, right? It'll give us options. We have to break down teams. The test will be really because both teams at moments, at least in Germany, were open to play football, right? They were especially Hanover 96 was, I thought, pressing us, and we were able to kind of move through them. The test will be the mid block, low block. That will be the test because that's how teams will set up. And when we dropped points, remember, we took 12 points off Ipswich and Leicester City. 12. The test will be, as they say, a cold, rainy night in Stoke. That will continue to be the test. And I hope to the man above I pray to the altar of Marcelo Bielsa that we can get points away at Stoke this season, because we didn't last season. It was literally a Wednesday, cold, rainy, and it was Stoke, and we didn't even get a draw. So Farka's got to figure out how to unlock that. I think he can. I think he can draw him out. I think there's elements where they kind of draw him out, but that will be the real test. This was my Wednesday waffle. There'll be basically a midweek update, and then hopefully on a Sunday, about a 10-15 minute kind of just more newsy brief coming at you. My name's Alex Simon. Like, comment, and subscribe. Marching together, Leeds. Peace.